We are.
Press X the podcast here. Paul, Rhett, and James ready to talk all things stars. I think it's all stars all the time today.
Yep.
Starfield, Seas of Stars.
Yeah.
I'm
Chocolate starfish.
Chocolate Starfish. I'm waiting for Star Mountain.
Nice.
Every biome on the Earth should have a star, something related to it. We're going to talk about the ones that have come out in video game form in the last few weeks, and obviously we've been playing them. We play video games. That's what we do. That's this channel, video games, Press X to podcast. Hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Oh my God.
James, Rhett, how are you?
Fucking delightful. Just my brain is fried. Okay, listen. The clock rolled over. It was like 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on September 5th, and it was like that's when Starfield drops on Game Pass. And I was like, okay, great. At 5:05, I was in there doing it, and I have not really looked back since.
Yep, same boat here. But a lot of hours into a game that, I don't know, it's like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a shitload of it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, as expected. As expected.
Wow. There's
What
a lot
Bethesda
of game
game-
there.
What Bethesda game can you not say that about?
Here's what I'm going to say first of all. I know people are going to have complaints because they are hoping in their heart for the second coming of Christ 64 or whatever. But instead, they got a game with some really, really amazing spaceships. I love just walking around inside them and admiring them from the outside.
The shipbuilder
And
is outrageous. It's so good.
Yeah, like it just you can like take the ship you get in the beginning of the game and just sort of pull it apart like a fucking Lego set and be like, all right, these are all the parts. This is what they do. And then it gives you little like warning signs when you're like, okay, you can finish this, but you should really fix these problems first. And you're like, okay, great. And then basically those two actions sort of teach you how to make ships. And like, and it rules, and it fucking rules. I love how detailed and lively and lived in the ships feel like, all the ones that I've encountered so far. I have 2, the starter and a dead person left one somewhere, and I was like, you know what? You're not gonna need this. It's fine. It's mine now.
Oh, I love stealing the ships.
Yeah.
One of my greatest frustrations in the first, I don't know, 10 or 15 hours when you haven't really upgraded that many skills is taking down a ship that you really shouldn't be able to take down and boarding it and getting up there to the pilot seat. You killed everybody, killed like 55 Crimson Fleet scumbags aboard this ship. Get up to the pilot seat, and you can't sit in it because you can't fly a Class B ship. But that's the kind of thing you have to expect in an RPG.
Yeah.
But
They
It's really great. The shipbuilding, awesome. UI is terrible, but
oh,
the building
yeah.
is really cool.
Shockingly bad.
Honestly, there's a number of tabs that I've opened on my computer, like to a shocking degree. It's like, how do you X in Starfield? Like things like, how do you sell a ship? Well, it turns out you have to choose to buy a ship, and then there's a button you can go to sell a ship.
Yeah.
And shit like that is just everywhere. Man, it's shocking.
Yeah. I feel like that's a Bethesda game's problem. Is that the UI is one of the things where they don't spend a ton of time on it, where it's like, listen, it technically works. You can, strictly speaking, do all the things that we told them they could do with the UI. It just sucks.
But-
I don't
and they're
know.
like, that's fine.
I feel like the Pip-Boy has gotten a lot of love and attention over the years.
From Bethesda or from modders? Because the same
From
modders
Bethesda.
but the same modders who make all those UI mods for Fallout and Skyrim and stuff, they had the same mod made in like 48 hours, and it's way better. Like
Oh, well, I'm sure it is for Starfield, but I feel like the Pit Boy, the base Pit Boy in Fallout 4, for example, works great. It's got everything you need right there.
It's all right.
It's a fun little way to interact with things.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
had a
hell of a
couple
lot
of
better than Starfield.
The
they had a
gimmick
couple
is
of
good.
games to get that one right. I feel
Yeah.
like they're doing new shit with Starfield, and so they're like, well, I don't know where to put this. Do you know how long I sat there in orbit around the planet before I figured out how to fucking grab jump?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you shit about how to do
Yeah, I
anything.
was clicking around for a minute there for sure.
They do technically say you have to make, they say something about, oh, make sure you put power into these things, or you can put power to things. I'm like, okay, I guess. And then it was like, oh no, you have to manually add power to the grab drive, and then it'll do the thing. And like, but also, depending on how you choose to fast travel, you could skip all of that shit.
Sometimes you can skip all of that shit. You can't be inside a building. You can't be on a different ship and choose to fast travel.
Sometimes you can't be inside the
Sometimes,
building.
yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to how some things work in this game, but
Literally
still,
not.
I'm drawn to it in an insane way in which I cannot stop.
Yeah, I read a one post on Twitter about like how you can have outposts and shit set up so that they're just producing resources and experience, and I was like, oh, really?
They
I
cost a
got
lot.
one going on a place with a decent mineral output. I might have to pack up shop and move to some place with better shit so I can actually start extracting. But man, hey, that it would be a great place to put that pain in the ass adoring fan who who I love, actually. You know what? I'm sorry. I take that back, adoring fan. I love that fucking dude.
I
He
did not
is,
take the adoring fan perk.
oh
So
man,
please tell me more about the adoring fan.
he is so unbelievably thirsty for you and everything you do. He's just like, I've
Wow.
just been writing a little book about your exploits. Or like, I've been talking about the heroes of the ship. I've just been saying your name into the data recorder for the last 5 hours. I'm like, oh wow, you were deeply unhinged.
Yeah, he's probably trying to fuck you, is what you're saying. Either fuck you or
Yeah.
kill you.
Yeah, I mean,
Both,
one or the other.
in either
One then
order.
the other.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. No, he's great. I just keep him around. I don't ever take him places. I just go in the ship, and then he just says something really thirsty to me the second I walk through the door, and I'm like, hey, you keep doing you, buddy.
See, I took the parents trait instead of that one.
Oh, nice.
I
You
figured
go see your parents.
oh, it's so good.
Is it?
They're so mom and dad, and just saying things that parents would say. But it
That's
does have
rules.
perks attached to it. Like they give you some good stuff. Like the last time I saw them, they gave me grandma's old space mercenary spacesuit. It was way better than anything else I had.
Nice.
They also gave me a
Just
ship. It's good
quick
stuff.
pause to shout out Laura and Lily in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. So wonderful to see you. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, welcome. Questions about Starfield, please, by all means.
Yeah.
Or not Starfield,
Um,
whatever.
Is it just me or does the space combat suck ass though?
I thought it was fun.
Like
Not much to it, but
I hate the fact. I mean, maybe it gets better later on, but like in the early hours, it's nothing but you shoot at a ship, it flies over your head, and then you got to spend what feels like forever relocating the ship, rotating,
you
rotating,
gotta-
then you find it, rinse and repeat 5 or 6 or 7 times.
oh, yeah, battles don't take that long.
No,
No. It's one pass tops, and then
then you
and
must
then
have
there-
some ship upgrades.
No, I'm using the basic shit. I have not touched it even one
Really?
time. Yes. I also have not adjusted the difficulty setting from the standard, if that makes any difference.
Strange.
I-
I don't know what I'm doing
I
wrong.
I
there.
just
What ship do you have, Rhett?
just the starter ship. I haven't
Yeah,
played
you got to
that
get rid of
much.
that thing. You got to get rid of that
Okay,
thing.
so that's it. Just
As
the very
fast as
first ship you go
possible.
into.
Yeah,
okay.
like take over a Crimson Fleet ship and just use that.
Okay.
The first ship really is awful, and it's an awful
Also, if
introduction to
you-
the ship stuff.
if you if you get into enough trouble with the spacers, you will eventually get a hot tip from one of them that leads you to the lair of the mantis.
Yeah.
Now that is a fucking ship. It also comes with a complete set of armor, which I take off only under very particular circumstances.
Hey, speaking of armor, I ran across something. It's like the inclement weather gear, and it is an exact ripoff of the poncho from Jedi
Star
Fallen
Wars.
Order.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm wearing that.
Nice.
Yeah. I will say one thing I want to get better at is smuggling. Just because the game really wants me to start being a smuggler.
It
Just
does.
like
It wants you to be a pirate.
there's just like so many jobs just fall into your fucking lap. You're like walking by a store. That's the cool thing, actually. That's the thing that I really like about this game is side quests. You don't run up and like activate it yourself. You just like overhear somebody saying some shit and suddenly it's a marker in your map or whatever on your list. Or like, oh sick, okay, I'll go do that when I feel like it. And like a lot of those jobs are just like, I need you to move something for me. It's not exactly legal. I'm like, ugh. And that's the other thing. The Frontier, the starter ship doesn't have any shielded cargo space. So you would get pinged immediately as soon as you landed anywhere else. And then whatever faction's running that particular planet would, arrest you, I guess.
There are ways around that.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have the shielded cargo, there are systems you can go to and sell your stolen shit to the trade authority without getting scanned.
Oh, that's good to know.
We can talk about that later. That's maybe a spoiler. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, there's lots of fun shit to do. It's great. I want to make eventually when I get rich enough, I want to make my own ship from scratch and I want it to be fucking enormous. I want this to be as big as some of the towns I've visited. That is my goal. I want to make a fucking star destroyer.
yeah, based on the like the field that you get to play with in the shipbuilder, it can be up to 100 meters long. So you can make a pretty big ship.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want it to be so big that like,
100 meters, huh?
yeah, everything I need. I want all of my like stations, like the crafting stations and all the research stations and shit.
Yep.
I want all of those in there. I want weapon racks. There's like a whole fucking wall of them. I want a healthy amount of storage. Enough, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, lots of guns. Just like a go ahead, start a fight with me, please. I'm begging you an amount of guns.
How do you guys feel about the moment-to-moment gameplay? Running around shooting pirates.
I think the shooting feels good enough.
Yeah.
But it's not anywhere near on par with a Destiny, for example.
Yeah.
No.
Um,
No, it tries to do a lot of different things, and so it's not the best exactly at any one of them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's just something. There's something sort of light in the gunplay. It just feels kind of light. You don't really feel the impact of each round leaving the gun.
That said, there are some very cool gun designs.
Yeah.
A lot of diversity there.
Yeah, because I was like, what I try to do is I'm like, I want to make sure that I don't have any double ups on like different kinds of ammo that each one uses. And I'm like, only have something in my inventory if I have a bunch of ammo for it. So I have like 11 different guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen in a few places people saying, oh, this is some of the best shooting out there, period. It's pixel perfect. The hit detection is really good. And I'm like, what game are you playing?
Yeah.
Well,
This
it
has the
might
same,
be.
it has the same problems as Skyrim and Fallout because it's the same engine where, the hitbox on the side of this railing does not match up to the railing, or you'll be hitting something that you shouldn't be hitting when you're shooting. It has issues like that I fully expected to be in this game.
It's interesting, like the laser weapons, for example, because they have the little tracer beam you can follow quite clearly. You can see how accurate they are, and that
Mhm.
77% rating that some of them have. Ooh, you feel that shit. You're just watching shots just like fly wide in every direction, like
It's
creating a halo of missed shots around this dipshit's head before you eventually like pop it off.
it's like the XCOM definition of 77%, aka you cannot hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I have like 600 rounds. I make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel in a lot of different ways about this game. Like I'm really enjoying my time, but I also don't think it necessarily really respects your time. The exploration's not good. It's not good at
It
all. If you land on a
makes me
random
think.
planet,
Oh, don't do that. That's only
Right.
for resources. You absolutely don't do that.
but they want you to do that. They want you to go down and
Do
scan
they?
planets. Yeah, there's all those skills around scanning and surveying, and there's a bunch of quests around surveying habitable planets. They want you to do
I,
that.
I haven't
But
I haven't seen any survey quests yet.
yeah, they're out there. But they, you know, it plops you down in the middle of this barren space and throws a few very repeated locations 7 to 800 meters away that you got to run for 5 minutes to get there, and you've got the O2 thing, so you can't go very fast. Oh man. And
yeah, I
the
just
repeated
haven't.
content is like very repeated, down to some, loot and stuff is placed in the same location in multiple
Yeah,
iterations.
I just haven't been doing that. I
Yeah,
like saw
yeah,
the
don't.
I saw that the planets were empty, and I was like, I'm good. I search when I like need specific resources, right? Because I'm like trying to build something. Then sure, I'll go running around scanning different planets looking for minerals or like hitting the shops. But like, I don't. I feel like if they really wanted you to just wander barren, empty planets, there'd be more on them. It feels like to me when they talk about surveying and shit, to me it feels like, oh, if you want to set up any mining operations, for example, on any of these empty planets, here's the tools that you need to do so. Also, we're going to give you a whole bunch of extra fucking crew members with nothing better to do, in case you wanted to staff some of these outposts and get some money going. But like, there's nothing out there except for like potential damage to your person because it's too hot or too cold or too poisoned with sunlight.
But then sometimes there is. Sometimes there is something to find there. So I think people who have a real completionist bend to how they play games are going to find themselves on a lot of barren planets hoping that they'll find something.
Yeah, they're gonna
Because
hate this fucking game. Is what they're gonna do.
it's easy to get really sidetracked from the stuff that is more interesting, either in the main quest or the faction quests or whatever, and find yourself doing nonsense.
Mm.
But I don't know. Mechanically, I don't think this is as big of an upgrade as I was expecting from Fallout 4.
No. The physics are crazy though on
Yeah.
each individual item in the world. You see that video of the dude that loaded up an entire storage room with potatoes and then opened up the door, and each individual potato has its own physics behind it. It's quite impressive. It is quite
I'll
impressive.
do you one better. I saw a video of a guy who spawned like 10,000 sandwiches on the top of his ship
Oh,
and then took off
yes.
from Atlantis City, New Atlantis. And the game chugged down to like 1 frame per second because it's calculating like 100,000 physics things at once.
Yeah.
And then he went back to the city and there's sandwiches fucking everywhere. Yeah. So I'm into that stuff.
Hilarious.
That's
Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like the potential for like wacky adventures and fuckery is like really, there's really a lot of that here. That's a lot of what I was hoping for collectively for like the great collective Starfield experiences. I was hoping that we get people doing wild shit, like somebody made the Planet Express ship, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of documents and build guides for like how to make different ships, and I love that shit. This is awesome.
Did you end up putting together the USS Flaccid yet, or
Nice.
Mm,
no?
not yet.
Maybe later.
It's kind of expensive to do shipbuilding. I'm trying to figure out if I can find a reliable source of income, and then I will build enough ships to put Hope Tech out of business. Those lazy fuckers. Yeah, all of them. Come at the king, you best not miss. I'm just gonna. I'll build an empire, and then I'll use that empire to make many ships. At least one of which will be a gigantic rocket-powered penis.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this game's really a tale of two things. Because as a game, objectively, if you're rating this thing, the people who gave this a 10 out of 10 as an objective, this is how good this game is, I don't
Fools.
believe that's correct.
Yeah,
However,
fools.
like at the same time, this is a game that I'm going to play for a very long time because there's a lot of it and I'm enjoying it, but it's still like a 7.5.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mid-Christmas, baby. It's come once again. It's so good.
Yeah. So anybody who's giving guff to the IGN review or the GameSpot review because they gave it 7s and PC Gamer or something gave it a 7, they had it right. All their concerns are 100% valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, I
it's
still love it.
absolutely a 7 out of 10 game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Bethesda makes is really good 7 out of 10 games.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
the video that we're watching to accompany this just showed the lock picking, and I think that's the best lock picking I've ever.
Holy
seen.
shit, it's the best lockpicking mechanic I've ever used.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good little puzzle every time.
Because you require actual skill. You have to learn an actual skill to do it. I can't quite do an expert level lock. Like I've upgraded to the point where I can attempt them, but like I tried a couple. I got one and I fucked up the other one. I was like, I got other shit to do. I'm gonna have to let that slide. But
Yeah.
like, you actually have to like develop a real skill in order to do it, which I find fascinating.
Yeah, there's a lot of thinking ahead and just kind of staring at the tumblers and going, do I want to use this here or save it? So anyway.
Yeah, the master locks look insane. Ugh.
Yeah, they are legit 4 layers. They're hard to get going.
But thankfully, if you're a scavenger kind of guy, if you just love picking shit up off of corpses, and I do produce a lot of corpses, you end up with a lot of digipicks, and you can make some mistakes. It's fine.
I will say another gripe. This is a little one. A lot of the loot is totally pointless. Why are there so many staple guns and pens and things? You can't even, to my knowledge, you can't even break them down into other things or use them for crafting and stuff. So why are they there?
It feels like the devs were like, people really do love to pick up everything that isn't nailed down.
It's
let's
true.
Let's have fun with that a little bit. Let's,
It's true, but had they made most of those things not actually physics objects, the game would probably run a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway.
They just had to make the most
that, I'm sure.
What are you guys playing it on?
I'm on PC.
Series X.
Yeah. Seemed to be okay on PC for me.
I've had it hitch.
Go ahead.
Once or twice.
Yeah.
I had one storage box, like a crate, do an endless spin in front of me. It was just like, oh, okay, somebody interacted with it the wrong way. Now it's just gonna zip away to the sky. That was it. That was the only crazy, glitchy thing I've seen so far.
I saw something very similar happen to an asteroid, and that was a little disconcerting.
Yeah.
What are you packing in your PC there, Rhett?
So processor is a Ryzen 9 5950X.
Sick.
Graphics card is a GTX 3060 Ti.
And it runs all right on the 3060.
Runs pretty well. Yeah, I can on ultra I can get a solid 30 frames. On high I can go at least 60. So I've been playing on high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a 5900X for the CPU and a Radeon 6800 XT,
The 68. Yeah.
and pretty much 60 everywhere except cities.
On ultra.
High and ultra, a little bit of
High,
both.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I turned
Yeah,
down
yeah.
some things that I'm like, I can't tell a difference here, so
Yeah.
I'll take the extra frames.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, it looks good. Pretty steady so far.
it looks pretty good for the most part, except for the procedurally generated NPCs. Those
Yeah.
citizens of New Atlantis, my God.
Mannequins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's-
most of the time when you're having conversations with real people that have dialogue
Yes.
trees and shit, it's fine. You know, they look decent. Their expression doesn't change that much when they're discussing something truly traumatic or horrifying, which is always hilarious. But like, you know, they work, but a random person, roll of the dice.
Yeah. I was gonna say what game isn't like that, but one thing that I praised Baldur's Gate for was that even the most minuscule, unimportant NPC looks every bit as good as your main characters.
Yep. I agree with that.
Just a little side note. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts about Starfield, or should we move on to objectively better games?
Yeah. We could do that. I'm sure as we play more Starfield, it'll come up in future episodes. You know, our
It
exploits as
seemed,
they
Absolutely.
get more complicated.
you know, you go on Metacritic and you see that this game's been getting absolutely annihilated, user score
Bit
wise.
roasted. Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of people were expecting Fallout in space, or at the very least, No Man's Sky in space, or well, No Man's Sky, I should say. And this is not those. If you go in with those expectations,
Yeah.
you know, I think comparisons can obviously be drawn to Fallout, but it's really not Fallout in space.
Yeah.
It's its own thing.
It is because,
Yeah.
you know, Skyrim and Fallout rely on that discoverability of seeing something on the like a map marker and wanting to go there and find out what's there. You
Yeah.
don't have that here because it's all broken up into fast travel and all that stuff and different planets. So you have to approach it a different way. But
Yeah.
that said, I think they do a decent job of exposing that stuff. Like James was saying, overhearing things that will send you to a planet that take you down a whole quest chain. I've had that happen a couple of times where it seems simple and then it's like 9 quests,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
Or like, I think one I uncovered was just like something's floating in orbit around the planet. Can you handle it? I'm like, yeah, man. And then it just turns into a whole fucking thing.
oh, I can handle it. All right. I
Yeah.
took the,
Hey,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, how many times have you guys managed to solve something just by talking it out, like persuasion?
Not a lot.
I have like a 45% success rate, maybe 50% success with persuasion, and that was before I put any points into it. Like the first thing I did for Sam Coe in the Wild West town or whatever. There's these guys trying to rob a bank, and I was just like, you should just not rob this bank and let the hostages go. And they're like, yeah, okay. And they just fucking turned themselves in.
Yeah. I failed that. So I just blew him away.
Yeah, I've had a couple of.
They stood no chance.
Yeah, there's at least one
chumps.
time where like I failed a persuasion check, and the guy just immediately pulls a gun out. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're doing this, are we?
But anyway,
I was doing the other thing as a favor to you.
what do you say we move on and talk about Sea of Stars?
Yes, hell yes.
I reviewed it. I think it's phenomenal. Might be my favorite game I've played this year.
Yep, fair.
Oh, really?
It has a hell of a lot going for it. Hell of a lot. On the surface, it's very, very much inspired by the 16-bit RPG era. There's a lot of Chrono Trigger. There's a lot of Super Mario RPG. There's a lot of Secret of Evermore. There's a lot of different things in there,
Yeah.
but it comes together in a way that I don't think would have been possible back then, thanks to technology. Technologically, we've come far enough that all those things fit together in a really seamless, nicely put together way. It tells a high stakes story, but it's told kind of whimsically and tongue in cheek. There's a lot of poking fun at itself and poking fun at the genre that I like. It's a great game. Great game. Made in Quebec.
Sweet.
Made in Quebec by the people who made The Messenger. So this was kind of a weird right turn for them, coming off of a pretty good action platformer, to go back out there and be like, we're going to make an RPG. And we're going to make it so good that Yasunari Mitsuda is going to say yes to us when we ask him to write music.
Which is insane.
Banging soundtrack. Best
The
of
best.
the year. Easily.
The best. Easily the best of the year.
The battle theme just rips. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The combat I found fascinating and engaging because it's like tough as hell all the way through. You got to really like use your noodle or whatever to figure shit out, but it's never impossible. It's never like it can't be done. It's never boring. It's just like, well, every fight's gonna have a little bit of punch to it. You're gonna have to think about things and strategize and do what you can to get on top of this. And I think that fucking rules. It really keeps you engaged.
Yeah, I really like the it has a locks system, they call it. So every once in a while, an enemy on the field will put up a series of locks that you have to break to get them to stop from doing some powerful attack. So it might be you got to hit them once with something sharp, and you got to hit them with something solar, and you've got 2 turns to do it because everybody's on a little countdown timer. And I found managing that stuff and trying to keep myself from getting attacked so engaging, especially in boss battle situations, because there's usually a way you can get around it. Either by delaying their turn or whatever, using what you've got at your disposal to get there. It's very, very puzzly, but at the same time, it's engaging because it's got timing based stuff. Every attack has a timing thing where you can tap at the right time to get more damage or another hit or many more hits in a lot of cases. Yeah, man, it's so good.
Yeah, it's fascinating because like once you realize that like every set of locks is achievable, like you can do it, then it's sort of like, well, then how exactly? And you look at your skills and you look at what you have available. Because some of them it's like, well, you have 2 turns to do a combination of strikes that you cannot do in 2 turns. What's your next move?
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times especially in boss battles, you'll run into those situations where it's like, I could do this, but I don't have enough mana. Or I should have saved some of the boost charges up to do something about this. And if and when I die and I come back, I will save boost charges for this situation. So it starts off pretty easy. Like it lets you learn along the way, but it does ramp up a little bit at least. It's not the hardest game I ever played, that's for sure, though. Very approachable.
The graphics are distractingly good. Like, the music is amazing. I really fucking love the visuals. I definitely found myself just sort of like kind of wandering around areas sometimes. Like, I really want to check out every part of this, see what I got to see. And any place that was like a water level where there was like a daytime sunlight with a water stage. I was like, oh, this hits just right. This is perfect. I just want to hang out here for a minute. Let the soundtrack go, taking these fucking lapping waves, you know, the fucking sparkling sunlight. It's incredible. It's an incredible fucking vibe that they've managed to pull off with this game. I'm truly impressed.
Yeah, just a masterful balance of pixel art that's really good with a lot of different emotes and stuff that make it feel like you're looking at something unique when a new scene's happening, but then there's enough modern tech like shadows reflecting off of fire and casting a shadow behind one of the characters and stuff like that I think I wrote in the review, this is what you remember 16-bit games looking like. They for sure did not, but this is a great representation of that vibe that a lot of people remember from their past. And Rhett, you've been playing this as well. What have your thoughts been so far?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I've been enjoying it thoroughly. Like we said, best soundtrack of the year. Combat's engaging enough to keep you entertained. Story's actually been pretty good, especially when you get to, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a certain part where things kind of take a change for the worse. And it's good. Yeah, it's good. It's been very, very good. Especially since for the past 2 or 3 months, I feel like I've been craving something old school. Like I was thinking of playing something on stream that would have been from like the Super Nintendo era, but this is totally scratched that itch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, been enjoying it thoroughly.
Yeah, while I was playing, I ran into a minor character with the same name as a YouTuber, and I got curious, so I looked into it. And this Gerard, known as Gerard the Completionist on YouTube, who like I guess loved their previous game so much because he saw it, I guess he saw it at like at PAX East or West or something before they gotten picked up by a publisher. And he sat there for literal hours playing through the demo of the messenger that they had available. And he spent the rest of his time at this event just like singing the praises of this game and ringing that bell as loud as he fucking could to anybody who would listen. Like, listen, guys, you have to play the messenger. And then the next time they were at a PAX event, they had a fucking publisher. And the relationship between him and this studio was like apparently good enough, and he left enough of an impact on these guys in their lives that he's like a little character in the fucking game.
That's awesome.
Known as Gerard the Constructionist. And in that same spot, there's this like mausoleum that's just like all of the supporters, because I guess they did like a Patreon or something, or not a Kickstarter. Yeah, and you can find this gigantic graveyard that just has like the Kickstarter names of everybody who contributed. And I think the statues are definitely, yeah, literally thousands of people. It's crazy.
That alone would have been impossible in the 16-bit era. That's just too much data. Would not have fit on a Super Nintendo cart.
No. Yeah, there's all sorts of little like sound cues and little audio things, little bits of music that I just still have in my head.
Yeah, for sure. I also want to give a shout out to the developer, because for this game during the review cycle, oftentimes when you're reviewing a game before it comes out, you can get stuck and there's nowhere to turn because no one else has played it or is allowed to talk about it. Sabotage did a Discord for all the reviewers, so there was kind of a little community of people
that rules.
Like, talking about, hey, how did you approach this, or how did you get that, or I'm going for 100%, what can I miss? And it was all very like crowdsourced instead of just smashing your head against a wall or whatever. Awesome idea. Awesome. I've never seen that before, and it was so cool. Great community.
Yeah, no, that's great. I hope that catches on. That's really good.
Yeah, shout out to whoever's idea that was.
Yeah, Gun Media did the same thing for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Did they?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
That's such a good idea.
yeah.
Also, shout out to our man Garl. He's maybe the
The
best
biggest
character in the
bitch.
game.
Oh, maybe the best character in the game, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's so good. He's
Yeah.
just that endless positivity. It made me kind of sick to my stomach every time he was
Makes me
like, "Oh
sick.
yeah, let's trust this person."
me
I'm like,
sick.
"Fucking
Yeah.
Garl, come on, man." But he
Yeah, if
he
this
made
game
it
doesn't
work.
end with Garl's head on a plate, I'm gonna be upset.
It's interesting because the two Solstice warriors feel like they don't have any social skills. Like they can't
Well, no,
deal
'cause
with people very effectively.
They grew up doing nothing but training and fucking sewing.
Yeah.
Of course they don't
Yeah.
have social skills.
Yeah,
Just
and then so
sewing.
Garl's gonna step in and be like, no, listen, I'll handle this. It's just like, oh my god. A complete human being is here to save the day.
Yeah.
How did he grow up that way, having minor spoilers for the first like 30 minutes of the game, having lost an eye as a child?
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
one of these
due to
nonsense adventures, he's just like, "Let's go, baby. I'm ready. Let's travel the world and trust everyone."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude, protect him at all costs. Yeah, if it wasn't for the fucking looming, crushing monolith that is Starfield, I'd still be playing it.
Yeah. I've
I
actually,
got access to the two of them so close together.
yeah, I feel fortunate that I got to play it beforehand.
Yeah.
I had some time, but I've still gone back trying to get 100%. I haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
yeah. So if you have any interest in RPGs in general or any love for the 16-bit era, give Sea of Stars a try. Try the demo. Demo's a good representation of the full game. So get out there.
Yeah, it's God, it's an excellent adventure. Jesus.
This year just gets more
So
and more dense. God.
yeah.
But anyway, what else you guys been playing? What else is going on? Is there any news? I can't tell. I've not looked up from Starfield in the last week.
Yeah. I haven't even been catching a ton of shit. I feel like I heard some rumor that like Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna cost like $150.
Wow.
That can't be true. Can it?
Yeah. I think
probably
it's a
ate
smoke. I think it's a
$1,000.
smoke screen for when it drops at 100. They were just like, "Oh no, it's not 150. It's only $100."
Yeah.
Or it's gonna be like the standard $79.99 or whatever, and then you got to buy the upgrade in game if you want to do online heists or you want to do the online stuff,
Yeah.
and that'll be $59. So then it's $139.
Hogwash.
Have they said
Yeah,
anything about when that's supposed to be happening, coming
No.
out?
No. They haven't even officially announced it yet. I mean, at least with a trailer. You know how they do.
Yeah, they're keeping it pretty close to the vest, which is wild because it feels like it's gotta drop pretty quick, man. Like
Oh, I
sooner
don't
than
know.
ever, that's for fucking sure.
I don't think you'll see that game until at least this time next year.
Yeah, I could see that.
Holiday season. I think, don't they usually shoot for like an October release date for these games? October next year.
I think even that's being optimistic.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, maybe next year, but maybe 2025.
Yeah.
I did see there were some rumors out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna move on. So if you got something to say about this, go for it.
Oh, no, I've got nothing. I got absolutely nothing about Grand Theft Auto 6. What do you got?
I was gonna say I've been hearing some rumors about Switch 2 or Switch Pro or
Yeah.
Nintendo Next. Apparently it was shown behind closed doors at Gamescom to developers and stuff.
They supposedly
Sure.
have test kits in their possession too.
Yep.
The big developers.
Which makes sense if it's coming out next year, which it should.
Yeah.
Power wise, what I heard, I don't know how reliable this is at all. It is comparable to like a Series S. So
I heard PlayStation 4, but like either one would be fine.
Yeah.
But
also
yeah.
with Nvidia's upscaling tech DLSS. So potentially
we all heard something different then, because I heard PS5, Xbox Series X that it's gonna be comparable to.
No
Really?
fucking way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Man, if it's comparable to a PS4, as long as it can run games at 60 frames, as long as everything coming out on it is 60 frames in handheld mode,
yeah,
great. That's
they've
all
got to be able to support Unreal Engine 5. Most
Right.
games are going to be on UE5 in the next few years. If they can't do that, the system is doomed to be more of a GameCube than a Switch.
Yeah.
The thing that plays Nintendo games. But hear me out on this. What if it is a portable console and in handheld mode it's, PS4 level-ish, but in the dock is where the real GPU hardware lives. And when you plug it into the dock, it unlocks more power to get up to that 4K.
I would love that.
It could happen.
So, a part of me feels like every time a person makes a prediction about a future Nintendo console, the like demonic thing fucking incubating in the egg gets a little bit more twisted. You know what I mean? Because like it's never what you think it's gonna fucking be. Like I don't know if Nintendo have ever really delivered what we were expecting without it being incredibly disappointing. It's always got to be some weird nonsense. It's just one of those things where like I know it doesn't make any sense and it's not based on anything concrete. Whenever people are like, "Man, I bet it's gonna be like this," I'm like, "No, it's gonna be weird and dumb. You fucking know it is." But that's just based on previous experiences of it being weird and dumb. Maybe they'll fucking come through. Maybe the hordes are closing in and they just have to make a decently powerful fucking console because otherwise the company will die.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. I think we
Yeah.
all know that they could just keep selling the Switch for the next 10 years and they'd be fine.
Yeah.
Their shareholders wouldn't be happy, but they could totally
No.
survive on that.
Yeah, quite easily. No, I think what I want from Nintendo is something straight up wacky. I want something weird that it's like, all right, you click these things together and then this thing, and it's like a Megazord from Power Rangers, and then it does its super move and the system turns on. You know, I want the wackiest shit ever. But I probably won't get that. It's probably just going to be Switch 2.0 with like beefier hardware inside and 5% better controllers that they've tweaked a little bit. Now with more buttons or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they make the joysticks better, I'll be happy.
Yeah. We'll all be happy with it making the joysticks better.
So in summary, it's going to be somewhere in power between a PS4 and a PS5, and it might be handheld. And maybe
insiders are saying it's got NVIDIA DLSS upscaling and ray tracing.
Ooh.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that sounds like a hot load.
That sounds like a hot, steamy load. Eh?
I mean,
James, are you all right?
it's probably on hardware that technically supports that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh, it's made with NVIDIA stuff. NVIDIA's doing DLSS and ray tracing, aren't they? Yes, they are. Will that hardware they're making do that? Who fucking knows?
Yeah, I think DLSS is a good bet. Like, spend some space on the silicon to, basically double your frame rate.
Bigger titties. Yeah, 100%.
Sure.
100%. Yeah. Oh, you heard that?
Yeah. just barely. There was a whisper. Thanks for that.
Yeah, they'll get to a respectable, I don't know, 31, 32 frames.
31, 32. Yeah.
I don't think that will be
No,
acceptable.
it's gonna be. I don't know. I'm honestly, I don't care about the hardware as much as I care about what wacky, unbelievable shit they're gonna do with the next main series Mario game, like the next 3D one. That's what I want to see, man. I want to see where they go. Cause that Bowser's Fury mini game that they made was a really fascinating, engaging sort of half step towards the future. And I think they could kind of move in that direction and make something really fucking interesting.
Adult-oriented Mario. Rated M for
Lit-
mature. I want him to. I
literally-
want to see him in the strip clubs. I want to see him in the red light districts. I want to see titties in my Mario games. Yeah. Adult themes.
curb
Cursing.
stomping
Yeah.
a Koopa.
Exactly. Blood and gore. For the first time in the series. Yeah. It's time. It's time, Nintendo. Where else can you take this man?
They could make that terrifying.
100%.
Some of the power-ups that he's had over the years,
100%.
like he gets in a
They-
giant shoe. Man, just
Oh, yeah.
starts
He's
wrecking.
just curb stomping up and down the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it'll never happen, but what if they did a 3D Mario Maker? So you make 2D stages and you put it
Ooh.
together. What if all right, here's a big nasty toolkit, make 3D levels, let your imaginations run wild with that, and then we'll get all these bizarre, terrifying user creations that send enemies into conveyor belt thresher machines and
Well, can I make a strip club in this? Can I make a red light district?
Absolutely.
Titties?
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Will there be Koopa tits? Maybe.
Yeah.
You might have to take a power up or a hat or something and just sort of put it in the right spot, take a bump
Yeah.
map texture and just manipulate it in such
Yeah.
a way where it's just
Now you talking.
yeah, if they make a 3D Mario Maker, then yes, you can have your Mario strip club, but otherwise I don't see it happening.
Nice. Okay.
The mushrooms are all magic mushrooms.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Which they're basically already doing with the next 2D one, Super Mario Wonder.
Right.
Really? There's hallucinogenic mushrooms in Mario.
Oh yeah, they replaced the mushrooms with tabs of acid. You didn't hear?
Sick, man.
It's the flowers. You pick them up and suddenly everything goes completely wacky and psychedelic, and it's just oh man, it's
Yeah.
wonder time. All of a
Know what's
sudden the
going on here.
flowers and shit are talking to you, and you're like, okay, guys, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm into it. That game's probably
Yeah.
going to be great.
It is.
Hmm.
It
Is that
indeed.
next month?
Yes.
It is.
And October is a busy, busy month.
Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah.
I'm considering taking a week off just cuz. Well, like a few days, just a few days, just for the fucks of it, you know.
Catch up.
Get some time in. Yeah, catch up.
Probably do nothing but play Starfield anyway.
80.
Hmm. So, what's next for y'all? You have anything on the docket that you can talk about?
I've got a review going live tomorrow
Oh,
for Eternites. I won't say anything about it, but
Eternites. ETER
yeah,
Nights.
yeah. Um, it's a combination of action RPG with like a little dating sim elements and some survival stuff thrown in for good measure. I think it's a Korean. I'm actually not sure where it's from.
Hmm.
It's got this sort of glowy purple aesthetic going.
It's got a
It's
little bit
coming
of
out
like
in
a Persona vibe with the
yes,
calendar.
it does have a Persona vibe. Um, yeah, so I'll have a review dropping for that tomorrow, and I'll have some proper thoughts on that. Um, coming out for PC and PS4. And then I don't know. I want to play that fucking Cyberpunk
Oh
expansion.
yeah, Cyberpunk Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really excited to see what sort of like new weapons and new systems and what sort of fixes, because apparently it's like a whole different game basically with
You know
this new
we've really
update.
come like full circle in gaming when we've come through people dunking on Cyberpunk and hating Cyberpunk to now they're comparing Starfield to Cyberpunk. And like, well, look how this looks in Cyberpunk and it looks like trash in Starfield.
Right.
Yep.
Whatever, people. Like they're both bad.
Fickle.
They're both
Fickle.
mediocre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. They're so fickle. But yeah, they're both mediocre games. What do you want us to say? That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
You can love them, but they aren't good.
I'll definitely play through Cyberpunk again.
Yeah.
At least once more.
Yeah, we got plans to do that on stream because I have not been through that game at all yet. So once the new update drops,
Yeah, that'll be the perfect time, man.
I don't know yet, but I may be doing the review for the DLC. So we'll see.
Oh, okay.
Possibly,
All right.
unless it's been given out already.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Keep
You-
an eye on the fucking
Yeah, you never know until these things just kind of land in your inbox. Like, hey,
yeah.
it's you,
Yeah.
bud, and it's due in 4 days. Good luck.
Yeah, it's like
Dude,
cool,
that was
thanks.
That was exactly it for Baldur's Gate.
And you were like, what?
4 days at max before the launch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a no-win situation. It's like I cannot.
No, it took me 3 weeks to just feel somewhat comfortable in writing the review for it. And even then I was like,
Yeah.
I haven't finished this by any means.
What does finishing this even mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Do you have to see all 17,000 endings? Probably.
Yeah. At least probably 10, 11K of them, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that hard to get to. But
Mm.
all right. Maybe we should just get out of here. What do y'all say?
We
That
can
it?
do that.
All
And
right.
when we return, we will have such tales to tell of games recently released, games yet to come, games only imagined, and a fourth kind that I can't think of right now, but they're out there.
I thought
Yeah.
for sure thought you were doing a mid-Christmas bit there.
Yeah, listen, I've talked about mid-Christmas here. I will talk about mid-Christmas again. people who are going to talk about, oh, Starfield isn't the perfect game. It's like, no, motherfucker, that's not what it is. It's the perfect game to throw on a podcast and then wake up and it's 3 days later. That's what Starfield is.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to us ramble about all things stars.
Yeah.
All things stars today, all day, every day, except for Rhett, who's way into the Washington Nationals or Walgreens. I'm not sure which W that is.
That's so funny. You said Walgreens. So funny. Washington Nationals. No, get real. It's the fucking Washington Nationals, not the.
Does Walgreens have an
Walgreens.
MLB team?
Does Walgreens have an MLB team? Is that a Rays hat you got on?
No, it's not. I could not be a Rays fan.
It's nice.
Thanks, man.
It's nice. Well, I'm not a Nationals fan.
So what's the W represent?
Washington Nationals.
But if you're not a Nationals fan, why the W on your person? You could have got a red hat of a different team that you do support.
We got a collection going back here.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
Just happened to be the one that matched this shirt today.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, take care, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you. We'll be back soon with more hot takes.
Pro
Spicy
Wrestling
takes.
Pod says the W represents winner. There you go.
Whew. All right. I like that.
Let's take that to the bank.
Nothing
Appreciate
but winning.
that.
Winning.
Not from the Pro Wrestling Podcast. Oh, welcome in. Welcome in. We're just shutting down for the night. But so happy to see you here.
All right, y'all.
Have a wonderful night, everybody.
Indeed. We'll see you next time right here on Press X, the podcast.